2026 is getting crazier for gaming because July is bringing some seriously interesting new titles. From massive open world adventures, survival games, anime RPGs, competitive fighters, and even legendary franchises finally coming to new platforms. And today we are counting down the top 15 new games of July 2026 that you absolutely need to keep an eye on. Now do me a huge favor, hit that like button to feed the algorithm and help the channel out. And let's jump straight into the countdown. Starting the list at number 15, we have Last Isle Survival. Now, if you are a fan of survival games where every decision matters, this one might grab your attention. The idea is simple but exciting, like you are thrown into a dangerous world where survival is your main goal. You need to explore, collect resources, build your base, craft useful items, and fight against the challenges waiting around every corner. What makes survival games addictive is that feeling of progression. At the beginning, you have almost nothing, but slowly you build your own shelter, improve your equipment, and become stronger. So if you like games where you create your own story instead of following a straight path, this could be worth checking out. At number 14, we have Am Janitor. Okay, hear me out. I know a cleaning simulator doesn't sound like a AAA blockbuster, right? But this game is incredibly addictive and absolutely unhinged. You play as the night shift janitor at a wild nightclub. At first, you are doing exactly what you would expect, like scrubbing up gum, fixing overflowing toilets, and cleaning up massive VIP disasters to earn your paycheck. But here is where it gets crazy. The game is actually a massive interactive physics sandbox. When your boss isn't looking, you can completely ignore your job. Well, it's hilarious, completely chaotic, and the ultimate stress relief game. Number 13 is Solo Hunter. And if you love games where you can just melt through entire screens of enemies, you need to check this out. It's a fast-paced action roguelike where you are dropped into a world completely overrun by relentless monsters. The combat is pure, dynamic hack and slash, like you have to constantly dodge deadly attacks while building up these insane skill combos. Coming in at number 12, we have Star Sailors. Now, this is a game that might catch the attention of anime RPG fans because it brings a beautiful fantasy world, collectible characters, and strategic turn-based battles into one package. The story takes place in a world that was shattered after a mysterious magic explosions, so your journey begins as you search for the legendary Horilums needed to rebuild the human kingdom, following the direction of a legendary compass. Well, the biggest highlight of Star Sailors is its presentation. The game features a fairy tale inspired fantasy world with a colorful cartoon art style and flashy skill animations that make every battle feel more exciting. At number 11, the nostalgia hits hard with Ragnarok Twilight Global. The Ragnarok franchise has had a lot of mobile iterations, but Twilight Global feels like a proper return to form. It brings back that classic open-world grind, the deep job class system, the massive guild versus guild wars that made the original so iconic. But they have modernized the engine, giving us beautiful 3D environments while keeping the beloved 2D anime-style character spirits. The social features are front and center, meaning you actually need to party up with other players to take down MVPs. Well, it's a huge time sink, but in the best way possible. Coming in at number 10, we have UnGodly. Now, this is a game that immediately stands out because it is not trying to be another simple mobile RPG. UnGodly is a dark fantasy action RPG built around intense real-time combat, powerful heroes, and a much darker fantasy world. The story takes place in a broken world where a mysterious force is consuming everything, and the only hope comes from warriors known as primals. Fighters who have survived suffering and gained powerful elemental abilities. The biggest highlight of UnGodly is the combat. Unlike many mobile RPGs where you just watch your characters fight automatically, here you are actually controlling the battle. You need to dodge enemy attacks, manage your positioning, switch heroes during fights, and use abilities at the right moment. Well, it's basically trying to bring a more console-style action RPG experience to mobile with heavier combat, deeper progression, and a world that feels much more serious than typical mobile games. Number 9 is UnTeam Mobile, and if you grew up playing classic competitive shooters, this is going to hit you right in the nostalgia. Well, it is a pure tactical team-based first-person shooter that basically brings that Counter-Strike energy straight to your phone. You are dropping into familiar feeling battlegrounds like Metro, Assault, and their version of Dust 2, where map knowledge and holding angles are just as important as your aim. So if you want a classic, no-nonsense tactical shooter on mobile, you can give it a shot. Coming in at number 8, we have Project Requiem Survival. Now, this is a game that brings back the feeling of classic survival horror games but in a mobile experience. Instead of being another open-world survival game, Project Requiem focuses more on horror, tension, exploration, and trying to survive in a world that has already fallen apart. The biggest attraction here is the atmosphere. Project Requiem tries to create that classic horror feeling where every hallway feels dangerous, every sound creates tension, and you never feel completely safe. So if you are looking for a mobile horror game where every bullet matters and surviving is the main challenge, Project Requiem Survival is definitely a must-try.
He's on fire!
Number 7 brings the smackdown with WWE Generations Eras Collide. Scooply just dropped this, and it's a 3v3 turn-based RPG that mixes every era of WWE history. You can team up Cody Rhodes with D-Generation X or put the Ultimate Warrior alongside Judgment Day. The strategy here is actually really deep. It's all about team synergy, like matching specific eras and factions to unlock massive buffs. The animations for the finishing moves look fantastic, and completing in iconic arenas like Raw and WrestleMania just feels right. So if you are a wrestling fan who loves tactical RPGs, this is a must-play. Coming in at number 6, we have Guild Wars Reforged. Now, this is a huge name for MMORPG fans because this isn't just another fantasy mobile RPG, it's a refreshed version of a legendary online RPG experience, bringing the world of Guild Wars to modern players with improvements and mobile support. The game takes you back to Tyria, a massive fantasy world filled with epic stories, dangerous enemies, huge adventures, and countless quests. But what really makes this game interesting is the freedom it gives players, and create your own unique build by combining weapons, armor, and thousands of skills. This means two players can have completely different playstyles depending on how they build their character. So if you are looking for a fantasy MMO where you can explore, create your own build, play with friends, and spend hundreds of hours building your character, Guild Wars Reforged could be one of the biggest RPG releases to watch in July 2026. Breaking into the top 5 is Jump All-Star Brawl. Anyway fans, this is your new main game. It's an arena brawler that pulls characters from across the entire Shonen Jump universe. The cel-shaded graphics look like they were ripped straight out of an anime episode. The combat is accessible enough for beginners to mash buttons and feel cool, but it has enough depth with cancels, assists, and combo extensions to keep hardcore fighting game players hooked. The ultimate moves are screen-shakingly epic, and the roster is already massive right at launch. At number 4, we have Don't Starve Together, arriving on July 21st, 2026. This is a huge name for survival fans. Unlike many survival games that focus only on realism, Don't Starve always had its own unique identity with its dark cartoon style, strange creatures, and creative survival mechanics. The multiplayer experience makes it even better because surviving with friends creates unexpected moments. So you can plan together, build together, and sometimes fail together in the funniest ways. For anyone who enjoys survival games with personality, this is a must-watch release. And folks, now it is time, smash that subscribe button and discover amazing games. Number 3 is Duriano Roguelike RPG. Well, don't let the goofy name fool you. This game will steal hundreds of hours from your life. It's a roguelike with crazy addictive gameplay loop. Every run feels completely different based on the insane item synergies you can stumble into. You might start a dungeon run struggling with a basic sword, and by the end of it, you're screen wiping rooms with bouncing magical projectiles. The art style is super vibrant. The progression systems between runs make you feel constantly rewarded, and it's perfectly designed for quick gaming sessions. Coming in at number 2 is Soul Land Global. Anime RPG fans have another big title to watch. Based on the popular Soul Land universe, this game brings the fantasy world, characters, and abilities that fans already love. The biggest strength of anime-based games is connection fans already have with the characters. A good adaptation needs to deliver exciting battles, progression systems, and a world that feels alive. So if you are already a Soul Land fan, this is definitely one to keep on your radar. And taking the number 1 spot for July 2026 is Pokemon Champions. The Pokemon Works just dropped this on mobile with full cross-save support with the Nintendo Switch, and it is a massive win for the franchise. This isn't an open-world adventure, it is a pure, unadulterated turn-based strategy game focused entirely on competitive multiplayer battling. Think Pokemon Stadium but modernized. You connect it with Pokemon Home, bring in your teams, and jump straight into the tactical fights. There is no grinding levels in tall grass. It's all about team building, predicting your opponent, and climbing the ranked ladder. It is exactly the accessible yet deeply strategic battling hub the community has been asking for. So these were the top 15 new games of July 2026. Now tell me in the comments which game from this list are you waiting for the most. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications because more upcoming game lists are coming soon. See you in the next one.